Hey guys, so this is going to be a quick video. I just wanted to talk about something really interesting I discovered in crabs. So I recently discovered that crabs is not deterministic. And so that means if the game starts off looking exactly like this, it's not guaranteed that after some number of ticks, it will look another certain way. Like for example, having a crab here and here is not guaranteed. Now that could sound like really bad news, but actually it's fine, because to make crabs non-deterministic, you have to build something really specific. So most of the time, what you build is going to be deterministic, so you don't have to worry about that. But an example of something that is non-deterministic is this thing that I've built here. And I'm going to run it and show you why it's non-deterministic, and then I'm going to explain how exactly it works. So when I run it, you can see that crabs just came out of it randomly on the right and on the bottom. And then after a little while, it sort of settled on the bottom. It's not even guaranteed which way it will settle on. This time it actually settled on going right, which is interesting. So this is kind of like a random number generator. It chooses between one of two different paths. So because this chooses between two different states, you could use it to decide on a random bit. And then you could use that to generate a random number. Now let me just run it one more time so you can see that it actually is random. So this time it chose down. This time it chose right. Now I'm going to try and explain how this works. So first of all, we've got a crab line coming from the left, and then we have a crab line coming from the top. They are in the same phase, and when they come out, they are supposed to annihilate each other. So if I remove these two blocks here, that is exactly what they do. None of the crabs escape this block. That is until I put blocks next to them. So what's actually happening here is when I put a block here, the crabs from this crab line are reacting to it before being destroyed. But it's not because crabs react with blocks before reacting with crabs. It's because they happen at the same time. It's either crabs annihilate each other or a crab reacts with a block. And because of that, there are race conditions, which means that the code races to complete one of them before the other. So when crabs end up in this block here, they should be annihilated. But sometimes this yellow crab reacts with this cloner and spawns another crab. It doesn't always happen, and it didn't happen that time, but I'll try it again. Okay, so you can see one just spawned there, and if I try it again, it might not happen. Okay, so you can see that one got annihilated, but this one came out. So really the code is just either annihilating itself before it reacts with the block, or the crab is reacting with the block and then being annihilated. And that's the whole thing. That is how crabs can be non-deterministic. So as long as you make something that works in a similar way to this, you can make crabs non-deterministic. Okay, now I'm going to talk about some of the new stuff I've added. So I've just switched to the dev version, and in this version, the main thing we've got is a ghost selection. So when you copy something, like this for example, it creates a ghost selection. And so nothing really has changed with copying and pasting, except that you can see where it will end up. So instead of having to guess or having to line up my mouse really precisely, I can just spawn this in like that, and it goes exactly where I want it to go. You can clear it with escape, and if you cut, then it clears after you paste. So this one has been cut, and once you paste, it clears from your cursor. On top of that, there are just some more things like rotation of the selection. You can see it much clearer now. So those are the main changes. I've also got, if you noticed before, when I hover over a crab in advanced overlay mode, you can see there's an arrow showing where it's actually facing. So this one is going to the right, so on the next tick it will travel right, and if I spin it around, then it goes left. So that's pretty useful, I think, for building things, because all I have to do is hover over a crab and just look at the arrow, whereas before I would have to actually look in the direction panel on the left here. You can see it says direction E. And I just think having an arrow is a lot easier to see. The only other thing would be this panel in the top right for saving and loading. I just think it looks a lot cleaner now. But in a future update, I'm going to completely change how menus work. I'm not going to give any hints about it, but you'll see it soon enough.